Who is Duffy the Disney Bear? I'm glad you asked. Duffy the Disney Bear and his colorful friends are a phenomenon at several international Disney theme parks, yet you wouldn't know it based on their lack of presence here in the United States. But something has shifted in the last few years. US fans are growing more interested in Duffy and his friends, and Disney seems to have taken notice. From panels at D23 Expo events in recent years, to planned appearances in shows, both new and rebooted, and increasing appearances at special ticketed events at the US theme parks, Duffy and his friends are slowly being rolled out. But will we ever see them fully represented at the US theme parks? In this video, I will explain the history of Duffy and his friends, analyze why Duffy failed to be successful in the United States theme parks, and discuss what's next for the burgeoning Duffy universe. If you enjoy Disney and theme park history, this is the video for you, so be sure to subscribe to my channel. Duffy the Disney Bear is Mickey Mouse's bear, who first appeared in 2002 as part of the opening of the Once Upon a Toy store in Walt Disney World. Duffy, for lack of a better word, flopped, and merch and character greets for the most part quietly disappeared. In 2004, Duffy, then known only as the Disney Bear, was made available for sale at Aunt Peg's Village store in American Waterfront. In case you didn't know, American Waterfront is a land within Tokyo Disney Sea, the second very popular theme park at Tokyo Disneyland. American Waterfront flows with Disney Sea's nautical theme and is based on 1900s New York City and Cape Cod. Between 2005 and 2008, Duffy could only be purchased at Aunt Peg's Village store. You may be wondering, does Duffy have a backstory? Of course, Disney Imagineers created a story for Duffy to align with his move to American Waterfront at Tokyo Disney Sea. According to Imagineers, when Mickey Mouse the sailor, based in Cape Cod, was leaving on a long sea voyage, Minnie Mouse made Duffy to keep Mickey company during his travels. Minnie presented her hand-sewn bear to Mickey in a duffel bag, which is how Mickey came up with the name Duffy. Pretty simple. Duffy is known to make his friends smile, and due to his innocence, he reminds people of their own childhood, of their own inner Duffy, if you will. Duffy's personality has grown along with that story, and it's that personality that seems to have connected and resonated with so many fans. Tokyo Disney fans quickly embraced Duffy as their companion for their park visits, so much so that Duffy is basically an icon at that and now other international parks. It's more than just buying a stuffed animal for kids, though. Fans take Duffy with them to experience the theme parks, often facing him outward so he can enjoy the parks with them, and taking photos of him around dedicated parts of the various international theme parks. Speaking of other international theme parks, Duffy can also be seen, like I mentioned, at Tokyo Disney Resort, Shanghai Disney Resort, Hong Kong Disneyland, and Aulani, a Disney resort and spa in Hawaii, and as I will discuss later in this video, increasingly at the US Disney parks, but only at special events. Alright, so who are Duffy's friends? Duffy has a lot of friends, and the group has grown along with his story to much success at those parks. Duffy and friends appear in shows, parades, and character experiences at international Disney parks and their resorts. Their popularity has grown along with Duffy's, creating a Duffyverse of sorts. Each of Duffy's friends have a unique backstory about how they met Mickey Mouse and Duffy, and they each have a unique personality to match. First, Shelly May. This is Duffy's best friend. She debuted at Tokyo Disney several years after Duffy, and then started appearing at Aulani in August of 2014. The story goes that Shelly May was also created by Minnie Mouse, and stuffed with joy so Duffy could have a best friend. The next is Gelatoni, a green cat described as a cool cat with a passion for painting, premiered at Shanghai Disneyland in 2017. Gelatoni met Duffy and Mickey Mouse at the Palazzo Canals in Italy, where Duffy spilled his gelato. Gelatoni used the spilled gelato to paint a work of art for Duffy. Moving on, Stella Lou is a lavender rabbit who premiered at Tokyo Disney in 2017. She met Duffy in front of the SS Columbia at the American Waterfront, where she shared her dream of dancing on Broadway. Stella Lou is known for not giving up easy. Her hard work towards her dancing dreams inspires her friends like Duffy. Next is Cookie Ann. Originally only named Cookie, is a yellow dog who loves to cook. She's known for being inventive and her ability to combine things both in and outside of the kitchen. Cookie Ann premiered at Hong Kong Disneyland in 2018, and later she was renamed Cookie Ann in 2019 to match the rest of her friends who have two names. 2021, Disney Cookie Ann Bakery Cafe, a bakery owned by Minnie Mouse, opened on Mickey Avenue at Shanghai Disneyland. Olumel, short for Melody, is a ukulele-playing turtle who premiered at Aulani, noticeably not a theme park but a Disney resort, and technically a stateside one at that, in July of 2018. According to his backstory, Olumel was discovered by Mickey and Duffy when they were sailing to islands to find a birthday present for Shelly May. Mickey and Duffy followed the sounds of a ukulele to find Olumel in a cove. Described as musical and lighthearted, when Olumel plays his music, it makes his friends feel happy. Olumel began greeting guests in person at Aulani in 2021. As I will explain later, Olumel is also a little easier to find around Disney resorts stateside. Lastly, Lena Bell, the newest friend of Duffy, is a fox with an inquisitive mind known to solve problems. First introduced to Shanghai Disneyland in 2021, Lena Bell met Duffy in the forest when he got lost following a butterfly. Lena Bell used her handy magnifying glass to examine clues on Duffy's body, which led her to reuniting Duffy with Mickey Mouse. Lina Bell has since appeared at Tokyo Disney Sea and Hong Kong Disneyland. You can also stay in a Lina Bell themed room at the Hong Kong Disneyland Hotel. Alright, can you find Duffy at Walt Disney World? Not regularly. A Duffy character experience previously took place at the World Showcase at Epcot until 2015. Duffy also previously appeared at Disney California Adventure, which in case you didn't know is the second theme park at the Disneyland Resort in Anaheim, California. But things seem to be slowly changing, and Duffy's costume must be hanging somewhere nearby in an Orlando closet. Let me tell you why. Exhibit A. Duffy has been popping up for character meets during Moonlight Magic After Hours event at Epcot over the recent years. These infrequent events are limited to Disney Vacation Club members only who have these certain perks to be able to attend. Exhibit B. Duffy, well specifically Santa Duffy, was brought out to assuage attendees last year, the inaugural year, of Disney's Jollywood Nights, the relatively new holiday after-hours party at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Orlando, Florida. I attended Jollywood Nights this past holiday season, the second year, and I'll link my video in the description if you want to see my thoughts on whether that event is worth the money. Anyway, and I waited an embarrassingly long amount of time to finally meet Santa Duffy. I think it was worth it, waiting among the fake streets of Grand Avenue, surrounded by Disney diehards to meet Duffy. I would assume he will keep appearing at this event in years to come, and we don't know if they're going to add more friends, so stay tuned. Exhibit C, another Moonlight Magic event, this time at Disney California Adventure. This year, Duffy and Shelly May and Olumel all appeared. This was the first appearance at a US theme park for both Shelly May and Olumel. This is a very big deal, and based on the online response, fans seem to only want more, and Disney kind of surprisingly let them out and didn't really tell anyone about it. Alright, with all that you may be wondering, where can you find Duffy merchandise? Though Duffy and a few of his friends had been sold at the parks before and at Disney Springs, Disney stopped selling all those in 2015. According to an answer to a Plan Disney question from 2022 about where to find Duffy, the answer is that Duffy is generally not available at merchandise locations within the Walt Disney World Resort. The Plan Disney answer at the time also indicated that Duffy is not available for purchase online at the Disney Store, formerly Shop Disney. In 2020, something kind of changed. Duffy and some of his friends were placed on sale at Disney's Polynesian Resort at Boutique, the souvenir shop at the Great Ceremonial House. I have an entire video dedicated to the brand new Island Tower at the Polynesian and a blog about the original Polynesian if you're interested, and I'll link those below. Anyway, Duffy, Shelly May, and Gelatoni were available as small plush keychains on shirts and various other smaller items. However, I've noticed over the past couple of years as I visited the store, the merch is more focused on Olumel, likely because of the island theme, and there are a wider assortment of options only for him. In what could be a testament to how many fans don't really know or don't care about Olumel, I don't see many people buying Olumel stuffed animals. That could just be my experience. Anyway, when researching this video, I found another Plan Disney answer, this time from 2024, that confirmed what I had seen, that you may be able to find Duffy and Friends at the Polynesian, but nowhere else at Walt Disney World. Specifically at Boutique, like I mentioned, and Moana Mercantile, which is upstairs, also at the Great Ceremonial House at the Poly. Other than that, your best bet is a pin or artwork at the Epcot International Festival of the Arts. In other words, slim pickings. Now let's get to the big question. Why is Duffy not more popular in the United States? It's hard to pinpoint what really happened with the Duffy rollout in the early aughts. He clearly made an impact to some Disney fans, but possibly less fans than Disney anticipated. One theory is that Duffy was not tethered to any known Disney film, show, or other intellectual property. Without that familiarity or built-in fan base, Duffy's arrival may have been met with confusion. People may have considered a new teddy bear to be the last thing they want to get on their souvenir list, especially considering the popularity of, let's say, the Sensational Six or other big Pixar characters who were dominating the films and, frankly, the fan demand at the time. Another big reason could be that Disney's decision not to introduce Duffy with an interesting backstory. For some reason, Disney elected to wait to fully flesh out a story for Duffy at Tokyo Disneyland instead of Walt Disney World, and that was clearly a success there. Maybe fans simply didn't understand why Disney was promoting a teddy bear at this theme park, normally associated with institutional historic characters. Maybe the history of Mickey and Friends is so deep and so connected with the tissue of the theme parks and American pop culture that fans were simply just not interested in what is kind of an innocuous teddy bear. It's also interesting to contrast the acceptance of other modern Disney characters here in the States around the same time. For example, the Toy Story characters, later Moana and also Elsa and Anna, who have built-in familiarity and popularity, but who are intentionally distinct from Mickey Mouse and his friends, their own identities and storylines and experiences not intertwined with the other classic characters. Duffy, on the other hand, has a story that involves Mickey and was crafted as sort of a companion that requires guests to consider them together. That sort of makes Duffy a replacement of sorts, a teddy bear for the stuffed Mickey Mouse that ostensibly would be purchased by the average Disney World guest. Add that Duffy resembles teddy bears found outside the Disney parks, and kids and parents alike probably didn't feel the need to spend the money. Funnily enough, I think that Duffy developing into his own character and having popularity arguably rivaling Mickey Mouse at the international theme parks has led to a dichotomy of sorts. Increasing interest in a now super popular character here in the States, but also the lack of urgency by Disney to bring him here. They're doing just fine, and frankly, a draw to get Americans to spend the money to visit the other theme parks. So what is the future for Duffy and his friends? In an article I wrote on my blog back in 2022, my answer was stateside dominance, it seems. But my answer has to change based on doing research for this video because unsurprisingly since then, Duffy has remained elusive, perhaps intentionally. Let me explain. Back at the D23 Expo fan event in 2022, a panel called The World of Duffy and Friends Revealed basically gave an introduction to all the characters and provided their backstory about their creation. At the time, this appeared to indicate that all signs pointed to Disney preparing to hype up US audiences for Duffy and Friends to make their way to the US parks. At the event, Lena Bell even appeared, her first and to my knowledge, to date, only stateside appearance. Also, perhaps most exciting, a 6-episode stop-motion animated show was announced about Duffy and Friends to premiere on Disney+. The episodes were to be like the web shorts, which feature no dialogue because the characters don't speak at the park when they meet guests, already available and still up on Disney's YouTube channel. Thing is, they never arrive, and there is no more information out there explaining why they have yet to come into fruition or if they are even still in development. Very interesting. Perhaps more interesting, in 2023, Disney announced that Mickey Mouse Clubhouse would return this year, 2025. Other parents can understand how important this is. At a Disney Junior and Friends Playdate event at Disney California Adventure, when announcing future children's programming, it was Mickey Mouse Clubhouse 2.0, which was the working title at the time, that got the most buzz. But what sort of slipped under the radar is that Duffy the Disney Bear himself will be joining the cast. That's right, Duffy on an updated version of a beloved show, reportedly coming this year. We don't know yet the extent of Duffy's involvement, or how he will be featured, and I think it's kind of funny thinking of him like a major guest star, appearing with a featuring Duffy the Disney Bear credit, but it's exciting nonetheless, assuming it's still happening. And what better way to prepare the next generation for Duffy and his friends than through Disney+. I think people will call that synergy. Though not part of the US Disney parks, a big update for Duffy and Friends is at sea. Specifically, the Disney Cruise Line shows further expansion of the Duffy universe. The Disney Adventure, the upcoming 8th Disney Cruise Line ship that is planned to begin service December 15th of this year, will be the first Disney cruise ship to be based in Singapore. The ship will feature 7 themed areas, including Imagination Garden, a whimsical hub for the ship with a theatrical stage, dining options, garden view staterooms, and experiences and theming associated with classical Disney stories. Imagination Garden will also feature Duffy and their friends in their Disney Cruise Line ship debut, including as part of the Duffy and the Friends ship. Get it? A stage show that will be a journey of joy and inspiration with original songs and a new character, a seagull named Tippy Blue. There will also be Duffy and Friends meet and greets, a Duffy and Friends shop, which I'm sure will have exclusive and fun merchandise, and a Duffy and Friends Discovery Quest scavenger hunt. So be on the lookout for that. So what does this all mean? Though promising, we have yet to actually see Duffy and his friends really enter the United States market with full force. Until the group makes its way to Disney World, in my opinion, they're not going to be taken as seriously by the general public. Sure, there are those of us that care and are excited with each small step towards Duffy being a fixture here, but there's something more needed at the US parks besides small merch drops at some resorts, appearances at events limited to DVC members or holiday parties, and the promised appearances in TV shows that have yet to actually come to fruition. That was a lot of information, and that's all on top of the exciting Duffy and Friends happenings across the international theme parks that could fill up an entirely separate video from this one. Let me know if you would like another video more about the Duffyverse and those experiences they can get at the other parks. Thanks to social media, Disney parks are more accessible than ever, at least virtually speaking. The popularity of Duffy and Friends likely may be fueled by hype, by fans' desire to know what others don't know, to have the latest thing, especially if it is in short supply here. For now, Duffy and Friends are simultaneously popular elsewhere, yet almost entirely inaccessible for many Disney fans here. Until Disney releases Duffy and Friends in the US parks, fan demand will only grow. I'm cautiously optimistic about what's next, but I will be staying tuned and keeping you updated. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and be on the lookout for more Disney tips, guides, and deep dives into Disney history. See you real soon.